Mitsuki decides to follow his own will by leaving Konoha Village and joining a gang of creepy criminal ninjas. Hello my friends and welcome to another review of the Boruto Naruto Next Generations anime series, and it's time for Mitsuki to finally get his very own arc. And already it's starting with a bang, with Mitsuki leaving the village, and of course the village being attacked by a bunch of creepy ninja, who appear to be the main villains of this arc. In fact, they've already been teased for the last couple of episodes. You could see their silhouettes in the ending of the Boruto anime series, but we finally get to see a little bit more of them in action, especially at the very beginning, and overall, they're okay. I have to admit, they actually kind of remind me of the Akatsuki a little bit. Not so much their overall designs, but some of the powers that they use. At the beginning of the episodes, we have these two very inept guards. I don't know why Konoha Village is having these guys guard the gate, but they end up getting their asses handed to them by these guys, and it looks like Mitsuki has decided to join them in battle for some unknown reason. We don't know the relationship that he has with these characters yet, and I'm sure they're going to try and hide that from us as long as they can, but these characters have some unique abilities. One of them can create giant explosive butterflies, which is very similar to Deidara. I even thought it was the same ability at first, considering that the butterfly was white and almost looked like that it was made out of clay. And then we have this other guy who can summon these weird creatures that wear masks. Again, this kind of reminds me of Kakuzu a little bit. There's a lot of similarities between these characters, but so far it's a pretty good introduction to them and what we can expect from their powers. But Mitsuki actually ends up attacking one of these guards with his lightning-styled ability, and then these ninja get the hell out of Dodge. The rest of the episode focuses on Boruto and Sarada as they desperately try to find Mitsuki, who has suddenly gone missing, and they decide to do some reconnaissance by listening in on a conversation that Naruto is having with a lot of his advisors, as well as the return of Tsunade! Yes, she's not dead. I find it kind of strange that I got really excited over seeing the return of Tsunade, considering how much of a strong presence she had in the original Naruto and Naruto Shippuden anime series, but we haven't seen her at all in Boruto, so to finally get to see her return is honestly kind of welcome, and something that I really enjoyed seeing, especially now that we get to see that the roles have been reversed. This time, Tsunade is reporting to Naruto, and Naruto's in charge. But Tsunade's old and curmudgeon-y, and she has a lot of things to say, and some old sage wisdom to give out. This combined with the fact that we got to see the return of the third Hokage's old teammates, who again, shockingly, are still alive, and just like the past, they're just really old and set in their ways. They're like Abe Simpson. They just love to yell at clouds. Now, the reason this scene is so important is that Tsunade and the elders actually don't realize that Mitsuki is the son of Orochimaru. This is a pretty big bombshell for them, and bringing in Tsunade here for this big revelation actually makes sense and adds a lot to the drama, considering that she was teammates with Orochimaru in the past, and that she knows that he's a creepy, slippery snake who cannot be trusted. It's also worth mentioning that this is where Boruto and Sarada learn that Mitsuki is the son of Orochimaru. In the movie version, in the manga version, they actually already knew. He just sort of subtly drops this to them, and they never really bring it up again. This moment is made especially tense by the way that Boruto and Sarada actually react to learning that Mitsuki is the son of Orochimaru, with Boruto not really even caring and just looking out for the well-being of his friend. It doesn't matter that he's the son of Orochimaru. Mitsuki is Mitsuki. He can't judge him simply because his father is basically Lord Voldemort. Sarada, on the other hand, is pumping the brakes a little bit. She's like, okay, Orochimaru's kind of famous for being kind of fucked up, so she has some reservations about going after Mitsuki, thinking that maybe he has a lot of similar tendencies. The reason this scene is so important is because Boruto actually realizes that if this is the type of person Sarada is, maybe she shouldn't be the Hokage in the first place. He basically outright tells her this, and you can really tell that it hits her very hard at this moment. Boruto decides that he's going to go off and try and find his friend, and as he's leaving the village, Sarada is there as well, realizing the error of her ways, and she decides that she's going to help out Boruto as they begin their mission to save Mitsuki, figure out who these villains are, and they better get it done quick, because the prom's tomorrow! Actually, there is no prom at all, and there's also, like, barely any freaking guards outside of Konoha Village, which I think is very, very strange. If it's that easy for people to get into this village, they really need to put some, like, turret guns around the entire perimeter or something. I don't know. So what's the rundown on this episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations? I can honestly say that this is probably the beginning of what might be my favorite arc of the series thus far. While the villains themselves seem kind of samey and kind of plain, they're still very mysterious, and I can't wait to see what their entire deal is and their connection to Mitsuki overall. For Mitsuki to actually want to join these guys, I'm kind of interested to see how this all went down. Were they the people who actually sent him that letter that he burned? Why did he burn it in the first place? Did he want to get rid of all of the evidence that could possibly connect them to these people? And Mitsuki almost seems like he wants to be saved. He's leaving one of his snakes behind for Boruto to take. Instead of taking it to the authorities like they should be doing, Boruto and Sarada decide that they're going to go see Orochimaru, which I think is actually going to be a pretty interesting plot point. And that brings us back to Orochimaru again. I've been saying this since the very end of the manga version and the beginning of this brand new Boruto spinoff, why they give Orochimaru so much freedom, especially for all of the incredibly terrible things that this man has done in the past. I don't think there's any rehabilitation that's going to end up helping out this snaky bastard. But at the same time, they also have him on a tight and very short leash, so at least they're keeping tabs on him. But I do find it kind of strange that Tsunade and the elders didn't even know about the detail that he had a son named Mitsuki who was living in Konoha Village. Everything about that is very strange. Otherwise, this episode to me felt very classic. It kind of felt like an old school arc from the original Naruto series, and it's really capturing that atmosphere and that feeling, and that's probably why I'm loving this episode so much. The moment between Boruto and Sarada I thought was actually a pretty powerful moment, as it was a very humbling moment for Sarada when she realized that she was ignoring the feelings of her friends and judging Mitsuki over the fact that his father is kind of a sociopathic mass murderer. While I sympathize with her plight, I agree with Boruto. You shouldn't judge people because of who they're related to. You have to look at the content of their character, and that's what makes Boruto such a great character in general. Also, I thought it was really funny that they finally addressed that scene from the last episode where Mitsuki has this like framed photo of Boruto right next to his bed. Boruto's reaction to it is pretty much exactly what I expected, and they didn't make sure to play it for laughs or anything. He's just kind of like, huh, that's kind of fucked up. Look, I have some awesome friends, but I'm not going to put pictures of them in frames right next to my bed so that I can see them every morning. And as I said earlier, it was really great to see the return of Tsunade. She's been oddly absent from the series for a long time, and it was great to finally get to see her return, if only just to use her for an excuse to amplify the creepiness of Orochimaru and to emphasize that this guy is someone that you really shouldn't toy around with, something that Konoha Village has been doing for a little too long in my opinion. Otherwise, I thought this was a pretty classic episode right here, and it's leading into what I think could be one of the more fun arcs and unique arcs of the Boruto series. Only time will tell if it can actually live up to the hype. But for this episode right here, I really enjoyed it. It had some problems, and some of it felt a little overall familiar with the fact that this is basically mirroring the arc where Sasuke left the village with the Sound 4 during the original Naruto anime series. But there are some key differences. It only superficially sort of resembles that arc and what sort of story that it's going for. And so I'm going to give this episode a 4 out of 5. You guys should definitely check out this episode. If any of you did watch it, make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comment section below. Do you have any theories as to what this organization is and how they're involved with Mitsuki? What do you hope to see from the rest of this arc? Were you excited to see Tsunade again? Let's just get a discussion going about this episode in the future of the Boruto Naruto Next Generations anime series. Thank you guys for watching this review. I will see you all next time, and as always, stay down there, baby.